A very warm good afternoon to our chief guest, dignitaries, teachers and my fellow mates. Standing here before you is Smriti Bajaj of BJMC first year. Today, we all have gathered here for our BG Varghese lecture series on the topic attaining stability and solidity, to be conducted by the man himself, one who served the Indian Army for several years, one who went in the war zone after remembering one of the Shakespeare's quote, "Cowards die 100 times before death. Valiant dies but once." With this, give a huge round of applause for our chief guest, retired Major General, often known as defense expert. I request the respected dignitaries to light up the auspicious lamp and take the blessings of Ma Saraswati. Now I request Honorable Director General Justice Bhavar Singh sir to felicitate our chief guest with a book and our principal academics Mr. Vikram Dutt sir with a bouquet as a token of gratitude. Now I request the technicians to kindly play the video of our chief guest.
See, General Sehgal is a Pakka real war hero. This is his lecture. See it, it's moved me to tears every time I've seen it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure beholding such an amazing audience. I will speak to you today on Indian Armed Forces and enigma. Indian Armed Forces, as you may be aware, are today the most revered, venerated, regarded, respected and loved armed force anywhere in the world. And as far as India is concerned, it is the guardian angel of India's homogeneity and integrity. The transformation from pre-independence to post-independence has been monumental and staggering. And I will share with you as to how this transformation has come about. Prior to independence, it was a weak, listless army, and because of its being weak and listless, we suffered ignominy of defeat for full 1,000 years. India was the only nation of this size and dimension which was plundered, ravished and savaged, shamed and maimed by virtually at will by raiders from across the western borders and from the sea by the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French and the British. Muhammad Ghazni came time and again with just a few hundred horsemen and every time took back with him tons of silver and gold. our menfolk were slaughtered. The Indian army is weak and were roundly beaten each and every time. Post-independence, ladies and gentlemen, we fought 5 wars. As far as Pakistan per se is concerned, we fought a war in 1948, 65, 71 and 99. Each and every time, Pakistan stood humbled, bewildered and shocked at the licking that he got at the hands of the Indian Army. In 1965, he was better prepared, better armed. His Air Force had the latest state of aircraft at that point of time, the F-10 Starfighters of the United States, the Super Sabre and the Sabres. And what did we have on our side? World War II vintage Canberras, Vampires, Tufanis and Mysteers. As far as tanks were concerned, he had the latest tanks in the world, the famous M47 and M48 Patton tanks. And what did we have? Defunct Centurions, Shermans and Stuarts. As far as the artillery was concerned, we were both outgunned. He had a range of 20 kilometers, our artillery had a range of only 11 kilometers. And we were outnumbered. That notwithstanding, we bet the daylight out of him. What is it that mattered? The man behind the machine. The Indian soldier had greater grit, greater morale, and finest leadership behind him that the world could have thought about. As far as the 71 war is concerned, he had a great advantage. He hit us by surprise by carrying out a preemptive strike against 12 of our frontline airfields. That notwithstanding, the Indian Army inflicted the greatest defeat on any nation in the history of warfare. Flat 14 days, a new nation called Bangladesh came into being. 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered to the Indian Army despite having a wherewithal to last out for another 6 months. Here can you, and as far as the Indian Army is concerned, the world was absolutely stunned. The compassion, the discipline, the character and integrity displayed by the Indian soldier was something that the world has never seen. Gentlemen, throughout that war, there was not a single case of rape or loot by the Indian Army. Unparalleled in the annals of warfare anywhere. All armies that have gone to the nations have done large-scale plundering, loot and rape and molestation, but for the Indian Army. In the 1999 Kargil War, we had to contend with a deceitful enemy, a tortuous terrain and horrendous environment. Incidentally, yours truly, who is speaking to you, have had the pleasure of being in that area for close to 4 years. The temperature was minus 10 degrees to minus 20 degrees centigrade. Winds were howling at 40 nautical miles. The wind chill effect was around minus 60 to minus 70 degrees. The slopes, he was very well prepared. His defenses were robust. The slopes leading to them were the most tortuous slopes that you could think of. 30 degrees at the base, going up to 75 degrees on top. But the brave soldier and the brave officer of the Indian Army, without bothering a fig about their personal safety, vanquished him and ensured that our flag flies beautifully on Tiger Hill. This, gentlemen, is the armed forces that I had the pleasure of being integrating with for full 40 years. I was part of the Indian Army for 41 years. During this 41 years of my involvement with the Indian Army, except for the 1948 war, I was there in 62 as a cadet. I fought 65, 71, 99, and I've been involved in insurgency and anti-insurgency operations close to 25 years. And today I'm standing in front of you as tough as any of the nations in the world. That's what the Indian Army does. I also had the opportunity in serving in those areas where daily survival is something that is seen to be believed. You've all seen the Siachen thing recently. I served in Siachen, I served in Kargil, and I served in North Hikkan. In addition, I served in searing heats, temperatures going up to 50 degrees centigrade in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Gentlemen, the Indian Army officer always and every time leads from the front. We have a most enviable motto that any country has in the world. And that reads as under, the honor, safety and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. The honor, welfare and the comfort of your men under your command come next. Your own honor, your own ease, welfare and comfort and safety come last always and every time. And we've always and every time kept that in mind. The Indian Armed Forces live like a family. We draw people of all color, all caste, all creed, all region, all religions. Yet while the world is being torn asunder, Indian Army today stands out as an example of harmony and secularism. I will show you or indicate to you few examples which will indicate to you the type of bonding that exists between the Indian Army officer or the Armed Forces officer and the men that they under command. The first incident dates back to 1974. I was in command of a helicopter unit at Srinagar. One day, well after the past backup time, we got a message that 8 of our soldiers were critically injured by a sudden unprovoked firing by the Pakistanis in the Gurez sector. Those of you who may or may not know, Jammu and Kashmir, Gurez lies 150 kilometers northeast of Srinagar, thick forests and mountainous area. In that, this mission now involved night flying in an area where no flying is permitted after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Because of exceptionally treacherous weather, the helicopter is thrown around like a piece of paper with the pilot being reduced to a mere spectator. The army commander moved in from Udhampur and he said, I want volunteers to undertake this mission. Both the flight commanders, General Saigal and Colonel Sadani volunteered. He was a bachelor. I had 2 daughters, 3 years and about 14 days. That was there. Both of us held the highest instrument rating that any pilot can obtain in the world, Master 3. We both volunteered. By the time we reached Gurez, the entire area was engulfed in total pitch darkness. We could not spot the place where our casualties were. So we requested our troops to give us some sort of an indication by firing a colored smoke so that we could be homed in. The moment the colored smoke was fired, the Pakistanis smelled a kill and started intense shelling backed up by unbelievable, horrendous machine gun fire. Mission was absolute an impossibility. Colonel Sadani was junior to me, I was the mission commander. Asked me, PK, what are the orders? And I said, we very strongly believe in the Shakespearean dictum. Cowards die many times before their death. The valiant never taste of death but once. I said, I am going in. And when I was going in, I showed you thousands of bullets were flying left and right. You could see the tracers going past you. His reply was equally brusque. PK, leave space for me, I am following. We could lift only 4 casualties at a time because the helicopters could not pick up more than 2 lying casualties at a time. So we had to make a second effort the same night to pick up the remaining. And that mission became even more riskier. All that notwithstanding, by around 10 o'clock, we were successful in evacuating our people and took them back to the hospital in Srinagar. This bonding that I spoke to you through the first incident, I will give you 2 more incidents. The second incident happened in a place called Bana Post. This was one post that we could not take from Pakistan for years to come. One fine night, taking just about 30 people with him, Subedar Bana Singh, who was recognized as a Paramveer Chakra, attacked that post through absolute and total daredevilry managed to throw the enemy out. When his company commander reached on top, one of the place on top was perhaps just about 4 feet to 5 feet by 5 feet. One of the men fell into the enemy territory while the shelling and firing was on. That time the company commander had only 3 people who were alive and not injured with him. Without caring a fig for his personal safety, the company commander slides behind that person, and after a gruesome struggle lasting 4 hours, he managed to retrieve this boy called Sipai Bhusengal. And I had the opportunity of running into him 1 month after the incident. Both his arms had been amputated because of frostbite. Yet his morale was sky high for only one reason. He said, I was very, very certain that even at the cost of his personal safety and death, the company commander will make every effort to recover me. I got a request that our post is at 10 meters from Pakistan. Visibility is almost nil. 2 of our boys are very critically injured, need immediate helicopter evacuation. There is loose snow 175 feet in the valley. No road, no track, no helipad exists. Imagine 175 feet loose snow, no helipad, no road, no track exists, and the post is only 10 meters from Pakistan. To cut the story short, the fact that I am standing in front of you, I recovered both those people. This innate bonding between us and our men is visible almost on a daily basis in our engagements in anti-insurgency operations with the Pakis in Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab and the Northeast virtually on a daily basis. While terrorists and jihadis are creating mayhem all over the world, it is the Indian army who killing them by the dime on a daily basis. I wish to tell you that we are one armed force who has participated in a maximum way in peacekeeping missions across the globe. Every nation where we've gone in, the Indian army stands apart vis-a-vis any attack. Every officer in this army, irrespective of his rank, has a very major responsibility on his shoulders. A slight mistake can be a catastrophe for him, the country and the troops. Just to give you an example, a battalion commander has approximately 1,000 men under his command. He has arsenal worth several hundred crore rupees and financial resources. As far as the naval captain is concerned, I am talking of captain and equivalent. As far as the naval commander is concerned, he commands a ship which costs anything between 1,000 crore to 15,000 crores and has similar power at his disposal. So can you imagine at a young age of 35 to 40 years, in any other profession that you can dream of, having such amazing responsibility, authority and power over the humankind? And yet, what is most unfortunate is that in spite of having a population of 1.25 billion people, for the last 30 years, Indian Army continues to be deficient of around 12 to 15,000 officers in the rank of captain and major. Gentlemen, these young boys and girls constitute the core cutting edge of any nation. And such a huge deficiency at this level can be catastrophic for the nation. What we today are getting, firstly, two people are responsible for this. The government of India, that is the bureaucrats, continuously one pay commission, the second pay commission, the third pay commission and thereafter have continuously lowered and degraded the status of the Indian Armed Forces. Despite the fact that the people of the country realize that the only institution that is holding the country together, holding its image, is the Indian Army. And there has been no murmur from the population. And second thing is the young children sitting opposite. We in the armed forces need young boys and young girls, young men and young women with the highest qualities of head and heart. As against people who are taking up armed forces as a career of last resort. India today has an historic opportunity. Great opportunities are opening up. 20 years from today, we could be not amongst the top contenders, we could be the mightiest army that the world has ever seen. The difference is, will we get the right type of materials? Because I indicated you what is the type of responsibility in this officer. We need the right quantum and the right type of officer in terms of young women and young men to come forward and join the armed forces. In stark contrast to any other profession, army is a way of life. It entails a discipline and commitment which is absolutely sacrosanct and unquestionable. It requires dedicating life to the cause of the nation. And I want you to bring about this change. I am looking forward to all the young boys and girls sitting in this auditorium and through you to the others, to the harbingers of this change, to usher in a contagion effect and take the Indian nation where it ought to have been long many years back. Thank you very much, TEDx. I enjoyed speaking to you.
Now, let's have the pleasure of listening to Professor Vikram Dutt, Principal Academics, and do the introductory address.
My dear friend General Saab, my mentor and elder brother Judge Saab, my colleagues and all my young students. After seeing this marvelous film and of General Saab talking himself, what is the need of any introduction? None at all. Except to say that he has trained over 1 million, that's 10 lakhs, students and teachers post his retirement in 2002. He retired in 2002 and in 2004 he wrote to 6 chief ministers that I have trained the Indian Army. I've been an instructor at NDA, at IMA, at the Army Command, the War Training School in Mao. And all 6 of them asked him to conduct motivational lectures and training. क्या हो रहा है विशाल? For the students. And so he's done it in far-flung places, in the hills of Kumaon, of Garhwal, in the tribal areas of Madhya Pradesh. कहाँ नहीं गए हैं? राजस्थान में गए हैं, हर जगह गए हैं, साउथ इंडिया गए हैं। 15 साल तक रिपब्लिक डे का परेड का ये लाइव टेलीकास्ट देते हैं। We requested him today to talk on maintaining stability and solidity. It's one of the things that youngsters today often need to focus on quite a bit. It's good to have Facebook, it's good to have social media, it's good to freak out. But the best freaking out is when you have a solid base. I'm your principal, but I can assure you that at least twice a week I freak out. Yesterday after college, I was at a farm which is on the banks of the river Yamuna. And those of you who are friends with me on Facebook can see the picture on Facebook. That's where we were freaking out. Freaking out means doing away from your usual solid work. It doesn't mean becoming unsolid or unstable. And that is what General Saab will speak to us today. I do not want to stand between General Saab and Director General Saab is not here for the moment, and all the young students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words. Now I request the guest of honor to address us, the students of DME, with his words of wisdom.
Professor Vikram. Some members of the faculty, amazingly good looking and handsome boys of my country, and Aishwarya type young girls. Had Vikram not been sitting here, I would have already winked at some of you. But I was scared of the fact that in the twilight of my life, I didn't want to be beaten up by your friends. वास्तव में, all of you are that good looking. This is the second time that I have come down to this institution in the last fortnight. Every time I've ventured into this institution, I've been impressed with the ambience, with the quietude, the library facilities, the auditorium. On the 4th of this month, I had the pleasure of interacting with around 50 to 60 faculty members. I found all of them very focused and very committed. They were very clear of what they were required to do as for the future generation that was put under their command. I went away quite convinced that all of you are in very safe and good hands, and hopefully you will go places as far as this current life of yours is concerned. I have been post-retirement, as Vikram said, I have counseled more than 1 million children in 21 states of India, and I also had the pleasure of interacting with students in several other countries in the world. Last year, last year, December, and January 2016, I had the pleasure of interacting with children at Harvard. And I must tell you that every time I came back from any visit abroad, I came back with the firm conviction that my child, the Indian child, is cerebrally better and brighter than the best of children anywhere in the world. However, what worries me, and very rightly so, that notwithstanding the cerebral gift that God has given to us, we continue to be light years behind America as far as frontier technologies are concerned. We continue to be 30 to 40 years behind Europe as far as critical technologies, particularly in the realm of electronics, is concerned. And what is worst, we became independent in 1947. The Chinese gained independence in 1949. 2 साल हमसे बाद में जन्मे, but they have gone ahead of us in every single area, barring pharmaceuticals and information technology, by 15 to 20 years. इसके बावजूद कि cerebrally the Indian child is better equipped than anybody else. So this thought ought to worry each one of us as to what is it that is going wrong. Apparently some things are missed somewhere, isn't it? If you look at the ancient Indian history, I wonder how many of you had the advantage of the time or inkling of having been to Akshardham. And those of you who haven't gone to Akshardham, my strong recommendation, please visit Akshardham at the first opportunity, take a boat ride. It will showcase you 10,000 years of our heritage. What India did 10,000 years back, the world is yet to arrive at those standards. The plastic surgery, the laser surgery, the type of information and knowledge that we had and awareness that we had in the field of medicine, in the field of science and field of algebra, geometry, the world is still to catch up with that. Then because of certain deviousness on part of certain foreign powers, we lost our self-confidence and we lost our self-image. Because we lost our self-confidence and we lost our self-image, we got mired in mediocrity. And we stayed mired in mediocrity for almost 1,000 years. But आपके genes में, आपके DNA में वो पुरानी इल्म है. It is beginning to once again awe and shock the world with what the Indian child is beginning to do. I gave a lot of examples the other day to the faculty. Since the audience is different, I don't mind repeating some of those to showcase you the stunning power of the mind of the young Indian child. Mangalyaan ka naam aapne suna na? We are the only country in the world which achieved success in the very first effort. We put the satellite in Mars orbit, first attempt. America succeeded in the fifth attempt. Russia in the third attempt. European Union second attempt. Chinese and Japanese, who technologically supposed to be far ahead of us, have made 15 to 20 attempts, have yet to achieve success. Similarly, there are several robotic vehicles which are moving on the surface of the Mars. As far back as 15 years, 13 years, 4 years. All these robotic vehicles for NASA were built by Indian scientists ex-Hyderabad. The shelf life or the life of the first vehicle which was put on Mars was only 6 to 10 weeks. The second vehicle that was put on the surface of Mars, life was 10 to 15 weeks. And Curiosity, which was put down in August 2012, had a life of 6 months. All three vehicles are operating as if they were born yesterday. From a distance of 665 million kilometers, the Indian scientists deployed with NASA repair them, maintain them, sustain them. Whenever they get stuck, we retrieve them. Their robotic arms are broken. We've repaired those arms from a distance of 665 million kilometers and retasked them. The entire world is absolutely awestruck to see this capability. जिसकी जिंदगी 6 हफ्ते थी, आपने 15 साल उसको जागृत रखा है, and it's still working. All these four vehicles that I have spoken about are equipped with biocomputers. All of you familiar with computers? You spend a lot of time playing around with computers on a daily basis. खेलते हो ना computers के साथ? I am very certain what I am going to tell you will going to shock you also and stun you. हिंदुस्तान के 2 बच्चों ने जिनकी आयु केवल 25 साल थी उस समय and 27 साल fitted these vehicles with biocomputers which are so small that an area that is occupied by one दाल का दाना, एक दाल के दाने के इलाके के अंदर 1 लाख कंप्यूटर्स को लगाया है. 100,000 computers have been fitted in an area occupied by 1 grain of pulse. The hardware of these computers is the human enzyme, and the software that manipulates is the human DNA. Can you imagine? The world is absolutely bewildered beyond belief. This is the caliber that God has gifted you with. Then some years back we had the Higgs boson, the God particle. 27 किलोमीटर की टनल खोदी गई स्विट्जरलैंड और फ्रांस के नीचे. फॉर व्हाट पर्पस? कि एक न्यूट्रल पार्टिकल को टू एक्सेलरेट इट टू द स्पीड ऑफ लाइट टू रिक्रिएट द कंडीशंस which resulted in Big Bang. ये जानने के और पहचानने के लिए ब्रह्मांड, ये कॉस्मोस, how did it come into being? What the world was able to do in 27 over an area of 27 kilometers, we at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research in Pune almost a year back have been able to accelerate a neutral particle 0 की स्पीड से लेके 1,92,000 किलोमीटर की स्पीड दी है over an area of 12 inches by 12 inches. The industrial applications of this are going to be so gigantic that it will transform everything around you in the next 10 to 15 years. और जो स्वामी विवेकानंद ने 1893 में कहा था कि जब हिंदुस्तान का बच्चा जाग जाएगा, he will not only be of great use to his own motherland, but he will contribute to raising the humanity to a different level. And he said that is the time when India will once again emerge as Vishwaguru. I can see that. I can see that happening through our generation next. I had chosen to speak to you essentially on motivation and power of thoughts. But yesterday, I decided to change the subject. And instead of speaking to you on a subject called motivation and power of thoughts, I decided that let me speak to you how can we achieve stability and solidity in our life. यानी दूसरे लफ्ज़ों में हम जिंदगी में successful कैसे हो? And why did I choose this? I am a topper throughout. You don't have to be a topper. My wife has been a topper throughout. You don't have to be a topper. I got 2 daughters. Both of them studied in several different schools. You had the advantage of continuity. They had the advantage of discontinuity. Every second year I got posted out, I got transferred. कभी यहाँ तो कभी वहाँ तो कभी यहाँ तो कभी वहाँ. Notwithstanding that, both of them today are operating at the global level. My buddy Pitya works in Delhi. He is a general manager of a private sector. Complete Travel and Tourism has been adjudged the best in the world continuously for the last 5 years. The younger daughter is the vice president of the world's largest finance company, has 40,000 people working under her, commands a budget of close to 200,000 crores of the United States. That is the power that you have. They were no better than the boys and girls that I am addressing. In fact, when I am looking at, I was very closely looking at all of you. The shine in your eyes, the smile on your face, the eagerness with which you are listening to me convinces me beyond an iota of doubt that you are as good, if not a lot better than them. हर 20 साल में नई generation आती है, and कहा जाता है कि child is the father of man. My younger daughter is now 40 years old. So 2 generations आप आगे निकल चुके हैं. So you are much better equipped in terms of mental faculties than them. जो हिंदुस्तानी देश के बाहर जाकर दुनिया में छा रहा है. आज 50% of all leading banks in the world have got Indians as presidents or vice presidents. My younger daughter became the youngest ever vice president of the world's largest bank, Bank of America, at the age of 34. जितनी दुनिया की इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज हैं, more than 50% are again headed in terms of presidents or vice presidents by India. You see Nadella, you see Pichori, all young boys, young people. They are becoming presidents and vice presidents, CEOs of global institutions at young age of 35 to 40. Where their residual capacity to contribute towards building that industry or raising the assets of the United States by an order of magnitude are immense. Next 25 to 30 years, they are using their potential and energies to build up that nation. हमारे देश में unless it's a private sector or a family-owned business, you rise to be president or vice president at the age of 58, 59, when your residual service to do anything useful is almost gone. This ought to change. And who is it that is going to usher in that change? Bring about the generation next. आप में वो सब दम है, आप में हिम्मत है, आप में क्षमता है. आज देश के पास सब कुछ है. हमारे पास दम है, हमारे पास हिम्मत है, हमारे पास क्षमता है, हमारे पास पैसा है. We can shake this world in the next 10 to 15 years, provided instead of sleeping, the young boys and girls of India believe in themselves, have the highest of self-confidence and the brightest of self-image. I want you to dream big, think big, and thereafter go flat out to realize those dreams. The problem with the boys and girls of my country is that they are not focused, they are not committed, They want to become rich overnight. I wish to tell you, to succeed in life, there are no shortcuts. There are absolutely no shortcuts. You have to work and you got to work and you got to work. The harder you work, the more success you would attain and the highest degree you'll attain. I've been talking to children across 21 states of India. Every time I've spoken to them, they've been from all areas. They've been law, they've been commerce, they've been science, they've been technology, tech-oriented people, they're MBAs, BBAs, name it, and journalists. When I ask them why are they doing what they're doing, 99% tell me, आपको बताया गया है कि ये कर लोगे तो कोई नौकरी मिल जाएगी. यानी दूसरे लफ्जों में, we haven't chosen what we want to be in life in concert with our aptitude. अपने लगन लगाव एप्टीट्यूड को बीच में शामिल नहीं किया, क्योंकि उनको शामिल नहीं किया, at very best we will end up as peripheral players. I very sincerely hope that all of you who are sitting opposite me have chosen journalism and mass communication as a career of first choice and a career of, not career of last resort. If you have chosen this as a career of first resort, I assure you, nobody can stop you from reaching where you are destined to reach. And I've used the word deliberately destined because destiny को shape करते हैं आप खुद. जितनी मेहनत करोगे उतना शाइन होगे. मेहनत नहीं करोगे तो बर्बाद हो जाओगे. I may have been an army man, 41 years. Last 5 years I've been on the national TV more than 5,000 times. And I today understand the media better than my brother-in-law, Mr. H.K. Dua, who's a doyen of the Indian media. He was editor-in-chief of 4 major newspapers for close to 25 years. Hindustan Times, Times of India, Indian Express
Take
Tribune.
your help to request him to come to our conference.
I've already spoken to him.
Thank you.
I've already spoken to him.
Wonderful.
He was the media advisor to 2 prime ministers. They've got Atal Bihari Vajpayee, member of the Rajya Sabha for 6 years, our ambassador to Denmark.
Ambassador.
And when I interact with him, he tells me by my awareness and my contribution to the Indian media is now outpacing him and outshining him. Just to give you an example, in the last 3 days, I have appeared on live panel discussions about half a dozen times, and on average in the last 48 hours, I have been on 15 TV channels.
To share with you all, I was drinking General Saab in my car. We were chatting. Inka phone bada. Sir, in 2 minutes we are calling you. Live from the studio. Gaadi se. In National Highway 24 pe, with trucks left and right. He was on TV. It's been one of the most wonderful experiences.
It is a very exciting career that you've chosen. But what worries me कि जब मैं बच्चों से पूछता हूँ, जो उनको इंटरव्यू भी कर रही थी, she was interviewing me very well. She looked to me very focused, very committed, and will go a long way. She's sitting and looking at me and smiling.
Divyani.
But I was wondering, क्या उसको अपनी जिंदगी का एम और पर्पस क्लियर है? Because first and foremost, you must be very clear what is the aim and purpose of my life. Is the aim to build up the Indian society, to build up the Indian nation, or is the aim to attain self-aggrandizement? Would I be known because of the number of awards that I've gained, or the quantum of money in my bank? Or would I want to be known for something else? My contribution to strengthening and building my nation. So, आपका जिंदगी का aim क्या है? What is the aim and purpose of your life? Because at times I get worried. The other day when I came to DME, Vikram did not send me कि इस इंस्टीट्यूशन का एम और विजन क्या है. I must have read it 100 times. To understand कि institutional aim क्या है. And if the institutional aim is faulty, then the institution will not be able to produce the type of children or throw up the kind of children that we want them to throw up. Having read it 100 times over, I was convinced that the institutional aim is very solid and very right. And no institution can ever have the same aim beyond 5 years. Every 5 years, the aim must undergo a change in keeping the changes in the society in view. उन सोसाइटल नीड्स को देखते हुए, नीड्स ऑफ द नेशन को देखते हुए, नीड्स ऑफ द यूथ को देखते हुए आपका एम जो है वो रिवाइज होता रहता है, टू रीओरिएंट, टू मॉडिफाई, टू सूट द गिवन कंटिंजेंट सर्कमस्टेंस एज इट इज सीन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम.
Sir, with your permission, let me introduce Parul, Divya, please, where's Sanchita? So these are the members of our faculty. We revisited the vision
There you are.
and they wrote it for us.
So I said,
Directly they are your teachers.
change, ladies and gentlemen, change is indicative of growth. Lack of change indicates decay and stagnation. इसी प्रकार, I was very keen to understand for myself. I never asked them any question, but I was looking at Hawk side. कि एक तो इनका institutional aim है. Who executes and carries out that executional aim? The faculty. The faculty is there to translate the institutional aim on behalf of the institution for the students or the generation next of us. कि what is the aim of the institution? Is the faculty appropriately equipped, appropriately motivated, appropriately equipped in terms of caliber and in terms of sophistication to be able to do what they've been tasked to do? And then the third is your aim. And if I ask each one of you your aim to write it on a piece of paper, what is your aim? I assure you, अगर यहाँ 60 बच्चे हैं तो 60 बच्चों को अलग अलग एम इन लाइफ होगा. And that is what life is all about. No two people have the same personality, no two people have the same vision, no two people will have similar aims. But your aim must be of the variety which uses the strength of the institution, the strength of the faculty to pitchfork you at the highest of levels. फिर मैंने आपको कहा शुरू में कि चाइना 2 साल बाद आजाद हुआ, लेकिन हमसे बहुत आगे निकल गया. तो आई बिगैन टू वेरी सीरियसली थिंक कि क्या कारण है कि हम पीछे रह गए, जब भगवान ने दिमागी शक्ति और दिमागी तीव्रता तो मेरे बच्चों को सबसे ज्यादा दी है. So when I seriously looked into it, few things hit me. Because I said I've been going out to 21 states, interacting with children day in and day out. एक तो हमारी पर्सनैलिटी में कुछ कमजोरियां हैं. दूसरा, हमारी सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस और सेल्फ इमेज is not of the variety that it ought to be of a nation who wants to be at the forefront in the next 10 to 15 years. We are not imbued with that burning desire to turn the nation around. कुछ कर दिखाने की तमन्ना से लैस नहीं है. कुछ आप में कुछ अनोखा पागलपन होना चाहिए to be able to achieve the impossible. क्योंकि जो भी आप रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगाते हैं कि impossible है, what is impossible for her may be possible for the next person. What may be impossible for him may be absolutely and totally possible for the next person. So ये तो आपने artificial barriers और artificial obstructions लगाई है. Mind says, Bhagwan says, anything that you can conceive is achievable. राइट ब्रदर्स जब हवाई जहाज उड़ाना शुरू करे तो लोग हंसे उनके ऊपर कि क्या कभी हवाई जहाज उड़ सकता है, ये लकड़ी का बना रहे हैं, उस समय तो लकड़ी के थे, क्या ये उड़ सकते हैं? Had they not persisted with their dreams, would we have the type of aviation connectivity that we have today? जब ग्राहम बेल अटलांटिक के एक तरफ से खड़े होके वो छोटे से जो टेलीफोन बना रहे थे तार के माध्यम से, ट्राइड टू स्पीक टू द अदर एंड ऑफ द अटलांटिक, पीपल लाफ्ड एट हिम. क्या पागल आदमी है. Would you have had the type of connectivity that we had? जब मैं स्कूल में था, जब विक्रम जी स्कूल में थे, we never heard of a term called blogging, we never heard of touring, we never heard of the Facebook and the internet and whatnot and whatnot. हमको वास्तव में जब मैं I was in a co-education school in Cambridge school in Delhi, सीनियर कैमरेज तक भी हमको शर्म आती थी ये बताने के लिए अपने माँ बाप को कि we got girlfriends, और बॉयज को शर्म आती थी, गर्ल्स को शर्म आती थी कि ये कहने के लिए बॉयफ्रेंड. Today, all of you are indulging in chat love. मैंने तो शादियां होती देखी अपने रिश्तों देश में, लड़के ने लड़की को देखा ही नहीं. And they propose to each other कैसे? हम चैटिंग के थ्रू भी fallen in love. So just see how the world is changing.
Sir, the ताली मार रहे हैं ना, the psychologists, they are the ones who probably already done it.
I am sure. इन चीजों में हम इनसे, that's why I said the child is the father of the man. आप और बहुत पीछे रह गए. If you really want to go big in life, particularly in the career that you chosen, अगर जर्नलिज्म में आप बहुत आगे जाना चाहते हैं, firstly your communication skills in the language through which you wish to reach out to the target audience have to be absolutely outstanding. अगर आप अंग्रेजी के माध्यम से करना चाहते हैं तो टैंटे करने की जो क्षमता है मेरे से अच्छी होनी चाहिए, और अगर हिंदी के माध्यम से करना चाहते हैं या उर्दू से, whichever is the language chosen through which you wish to reach out to the target audience, it must carry convictions. They must be able to assimilate what you're saying and absorb what you're saying. It's everything is market oriented. You got to reach out and make an impact on the target audience. You fortunate that today in the country we have more than India is the only country in the world which has more than 10,000 newspapers and publications on a daily basis. अगर 10,000 अखबारें और मैगजीन रोज छपती है, imagine the huge multitude of people out in the field collecting जो उस मैगजीन में जाएगा. How many of them are involved in correcting कि वो लैंग्वेज सही हो, ग्रामर सही हो? How many are involved in authenticating? ये एडिटर हैं, लिख देते हैं कि प्रमोद सहगल घूस लेता है, मैं तो उनके ऊपर 100 करोड़ का डिफेमेशन कोर्स कर दूंगा, बात की सारी उम्र में फंस जाएंगे. So as an editor or editor in chief, he has got to authenticate what is going in his magazine. Uneasy lies the head that weighs the ground. I am sure at a point of time all of you would want to be editors. All of you want to be senior correspondents. तो जो उस मैगजीन में आपके माध्यम से गया है, उसकी ऑथेंटिसिटी आपके ऊपर है. So today there are more than 2,000 TV channels, more than 1,000 AM channels रेडियो के, more than 291 FM channels as of today, और अगले 2 साल में 2,000 FM channels हो जाएंगे. If you look at any channel, चाहे वो रेडियो के ऊपर हो चाहे वो टीवी पे हो, every 30 minutes is a new program. Just imagine how many people are involved in putting that program together. How many millions of VJs, RJs and DJs are needed? And do we have those many numbers? Are we throwing up that many numbers of VJs, RJs and DJs? So इसलिए scope is unbelievable and it is ever expanding. Because I have only spoken about the print media and the electronic media so far. What about the web media? What about the social media? अगर आपने देखा है 2.5 साल में ISIS कैसे उठा, the greatest exploitation of the social media ever done by anybody is by the ISIS. और कल ही आपने अगर मेरा देखा हो जो कश्मीर में वीडियो दिखा रहे थे, तो I said LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen are beginning to learn the tricks of the trade from the ISIS. How to exploit social media for their advantage as against the detriment of India. मेरे को जो लड़की आपकी इंटरव्यू कर रही थी, तो she asked me one last question: how can the media build up the nation? I said the media has to be focused on India, India and India. It's a very powerful tool as a force multiplication and a force leader. आपको हर समय हिंदुस्तान और देश का इंटरेस्ट ना के टीआरपी रेटिंग. What is today happening is we are keeping TRP into focus. और बाल का ऐसे खदेड़ते कि eventually it works to the disadvantage of the country. Today, ethics, morals, values have totally stood degraded. आप अपने इज्जत को, अपने ईमान को सब बेच रहे हो. 90% of the media that I am interacting with, and it includes everything. मैं टाइम्स नाउ पे आता हूँ, मैं जी न्यूज पे आता हूँ, मैं इंडिया टुडे पे आता हूँ, मैं IBN 7 पे आता हूँ, ABP न्यूज पे आता हूँ. ये जितनी भी इंग्लिश चैनल्स हैं, हिंदी चैनल्स that are of essence, I've been each one of them is a paid media. मैं उनको कई बार बोलता हूँ, जब मेरे घर में आपके इंटरव्यू आई है, दिखाया क्या है? ऊपर से सिर काट दिए, नीचे से पाँव काट दिए, बीच में से लटका दिया. Because they pick up words which suits them. They are not interested in India. They are interested in what is the story that they want to say. Sometimes they send me the best of their reporters, जो इज्जत वाले हैं, no names. वो रिपोर्टर कहती है आके मेरे को आके कि सर मेरे को आपकी इस चीज के ऊपर इंटरव्यू चाहिए, लेकिन आप डिफेंस एक्सपर्ट हैं, आपको ये बोलना है. मैंने कहा क्या सर, आपको ये बोलना है. So I said, you barking up the wrong tree, please get out. I said, just leave my house, please get out. I will speak and answer your question the way I want to do it and not the way that your producer or your proprietor wants to hear it. अच्छा सर, आप अपनी इंटरव्यू दे दीजिए, और जब वो पब्लिश उतारते तो ऊपर से सिर काट दिया, नीचे से पैर काट दिया, और वही डाल दिया उन्होंने जो चाहते थे. Which is indicating the murder of ethics and morals. So you got to be very careful. As I said, media can be information, misinformation, disinformation, sleaze and ruse are potent force multipliers of the days of Mahabharata. हम स्टोरीज प्लांट करते हैं to misinform, disinform, confuse the enemy. But if the media plants similar stories to misinform, disinform and confuse the Indian nation and the Indian army or the Indian soldier, you got to be very clear. Are you doing pro-friendly story in favor of India, or are you acting at the behest of Murdoch? समझ गए ना? So it's a very, very serious profession that you've chosen to. Your aim is to educate the society. Your aim is to educate and tell the people of India what is the truth and what are the facts. Could make recommendations, leave it to them to come to their own judgments. So it's a very serious profession which can make critical difference to the fortunes of India. If appropriately gone into, and it could do great disadvantage if not appropriately for. So मैंने कहा था पहले तो पर्सनैलिटी में कमजोरियां हैं, तो मैंने कुछ चीजों की बात तो कर दी. दूसरा सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस एंड सेल्फ इमेज. We suffer from absolute utter lack of self confidence, and हमारी self image बहुत ही कमजोर है. The next thing that we got to work on is time management. Young ladies and gentlemen, time management is the essence of life management. Boxing ring में, wrestling ring में, well fought red blue is the winner. The difference between the person who wins and the person who's always वो भी भागे, also ran, is the question of how effectively you utilize. भगवान ने सबको वही समय दिया है. अगर आप अपने प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को देखिए, वो इतनी रोज रिलीज करते हैं, इतने लोगों को मीट करते हैं, उनके दौरान प्राइम मिनिस्टरशिप के दौरान में एक भी फाइल 24 घंटे से ज्यादा उनका ऑफिस में नहीं है। एवरी फाइल इज क्लियर द सेम डे। समय तो भगवान ने वही दिया। सो इट्स अ क्वेश्चन, when I was in command of forces, I must tell you, whoever wanted to meet me, मेरा डेप्टी हमेशा कंफ्यूज रहता था कि वो लोग मिलना चाहते हैं। अब सबको तो आपसे जो प्रेडिसेसर था वो दिन में 1 या 2 से मिलता था, 5 मिनट में भगा दे। I said the person who wanted to come and meet the general, उसकी कोई शिकायत है, उसकी कोई कंप्लेंट है, उसकी कोई उसको the mere fact that you heard him, she goes back a happy man कि I have been able to put my grievance at the highest one. She is not interested उसका आउटकम क्या होगा। The fact that he was able to आपके सामने अपना रोना दिल खोल दिया, उसकी प्रॉब्लम आपने हल कर दी। And I always had time. I was everywhere. मैं जब कर्नल बना, कमांडिंग ऑफिसर, I was posted to a peace area called Bhuj. रेजिमेंट बड़े मौज मस्ती में वहां बैठी थी। I landed there in the month of July. ब्लू स्टार ऑपरेशन हो गया। In September में we were told to move to पंजाब। In पंजाब में कहाँ पे? गुरदासपुर, which was the hub। और मेरे को 4 टास्क दिए गए to bring in peace and law and order in गुरदासपुर, in अमृतसर, in फिरोजपुर and बटाला एरिया। जो पंजाब से वाकिफ है उस समय वो सबसे ज्यादा पीड़ित इलाके थे। मेरा सेकंड इन कमांड नेम से राजपूत, राजस्थान का। एंड व्हेन द बटालियन मूव्स, एडवांस पार्टी लेके जाते, द सेकंड इन कमांड, द मेन बॉडी व्हेन इट मूव्स इज टेकन फॉरवर्ड बाय द कमांडिंग ऑफिसर। तो एज पर द नॉर्म्स ऑफ द सर्विस आई टोल्ड माय सेकंड इन कमांड, भाई वो 100 बंदे को लेके वो एरिया को सिक्योर करो एंड प्रिपेयर फॉर आवर कमिंग 30 days later। उसके बीबी बच्चे went into, they became psychic। वो हटा कटा था, कहा कि मेरे मियाँ को बलि का बकरा बनाने के लिए आपने पहले भेज रहे हो। I land up there 30 days later and I am horrified कि 4 साल ये जो मेरी बटालियन थी, जो रेजिमेंट थी, जो भुज में मैं कमांड कर रहा था, बड़े लगती थी, शेर हैं, वहां तो जाके बिल्कुल भीतर बन गए थे। खौफ था, क्योंकि जब हम गए, वो जो सिनेरियो था समय गुरदासपुर में कि शाम जैसे शाम होती थी, मीलों मीलों तक कोई नजर नहीं आता था। खेत खाली, सड़कें खाली, बाजार बंद, दुकानें बंद, यहां तक कि कुत्ते बिल्ली गाय भैंस नहीं रह सकते थे। और सारी शाम रात को कट 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 बंदूकें फायर होता था। तो मैंने उनको कहा विद इन लैंडिंग देयर 48 आवर्स, मैंने कहा 30 दिन से आप आए हो, आपने अपना ऑपरेशनल एरिया देखा? हर एक कंपनी की बटालियन की बैटरी के, भाई हमारा ऑपरेशनल एरिया भी है। हमारा मुख्य काम है हिंदुस्तान को पाकिस्तान के हमले से बचाना। तो आप अपने ऑपरेशनल एरियाज को विजिट किया, वहां गए हो? तो ऐसे नहीं सर वहां गए। मैंने कहा वहां क्यों नहीं गए? वो तो हमारा प्राइम टास्क है टू प्रोवाइड एक्सटर्नल डिफेंस टू इंडिया। ये इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी इज ऑल्सो अ टास्क ऑफ आवर्स, बट दैट इज द मेन टास्क। तो मैंने तीनों बैटरी कमांडर्स को विद इन 24 आवर्स कहा सुबह कल 5 बजे निकल जाओ and go down to the operational areas and don't fall back till you can come back with workable plans of how to protect them should the balloon go up। क्योंकि हमारा काम था एयर डिफेंस, पाकिस्तान के हवाई हमले से कुछ खास टारगेट्स को बचाना था। पठानकोट एयरबेस was one of my targets, Amritsar airfield was another, then certain vital bridges over the Beas, certain ammunition dump and the core headquarters at Jalgar। तो ये सुबह गए, गुरदासपुर से जाना आना ही 2-2 घंटे जाने के, 2 घंटे आने के, 4 घंटे, और वहां जाके अगर अपने ऑपरेशनल प्लान्स बनाने एंड यू गॉट टू कैरी कन्विक्शन विद द कमांडिंग ऑफिसर। अर्लीस्ट आई एक्सपेक्टेड दैट वाज नॉट बिफोर 2 AM। वो 7-8 बजे मेरे पास सूबेदार मेजर आए, उन्होंने कहा सर बट सारी 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 बड़ा अजीब माहौल है रेजिमेंट में। मैंने कहा क्या हो गया? सर सारी औरतें रो रही हैं कि हमारे मियाँ वापस नहीं आए। मैं देखा सबसे पहले जो मेरे सेकंड इन कमांड की मेम साहब वाज लीड, वो भी कि कर्नल सहगल आगे हम भेज दिया है बलि के बकरे बांधने के लिए, 11 बज गए 12 बज गए कोई वापस नहीं आया। मैंने कहा हर टुकड़ी में 100 लोग हैं and we are trained and we equipped and we are armed not only to defend ourselves but to bring in peace and sense there. और अगर हम अपने आप को नहीं बचा सकते तो then we don't need to be calling ourselves soldiers. Next day मैंने हुक्म दिया, I decided to speak to everybody in my regiment including the ladies and the children. मैंने कहा हमारा जो काम है मुख्य काम ये और ये है। Those of you जिनमें हिम्मत या दम या करेज नहीं है to understand what we require to do, 24 घंटे देता हूं, बोरी बिस्तर पैक आउट, आई डोंट वांट द लेडीज है। फिर नेक्स्ट थिंग व्हाट आई डिड, जैसे इन्होंने एक सिपाही ने बोला है कि भाई हमको खाना सही नहीं मिलता, मीडिया ने रिपोर्ट किया ना, बट द वे इट हैज बीन रिपोर्टेड इज शेमफुल। आप दुश्मन को बता रहे हो कि हिंदुस्तान की फौजें इतनी बड़ी हैं, अगर आप उस फौजों में आर्मी में, नेवी में, एयरफोर्स में, पैरामिलिट्री कर दो तो इट गोज इनटू मिलियंस। और अगर एक पिकेट या एक पोस्ट में ऐसी शिकायत होगी ना, दे मीडिया उछालो इट with the same brush you are coloring the entire nation, the entire force. So here the media is being used as a force degrader and not as a force multiplier. तो आपको अपना कैरेक्टर, अपना इंटीग्रिटी, अपनी सोच विचार, अपने कहने का ढंग, अपने सोचने का ढंग, सब के ऊपर बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा इफ यू वांट टू मेक अ सक्सेस ऑफ अ करियर इन जर्नलिज्म। Then let me speak on few things else. The power of the media. All of you heard about the Arab Spring? पता है अरब स्प्रिंग क्या था? I can't believe it. ये मिडिल ईस्ट में जो कितना कंफ्यूजन हुआ है, The Arab Spring is a spontaneous uprising that took place in several countries in Middle East concurrently. टूनिशिया में एक नागरिक ने सेल्फ इमोलेशन, अपने आप को सिटी सेंटर में जला दिया। उसकी शिकायत थी कि यहाँ के उसके देश के जो पुलिसमैन हैं वो बड़े बदतमीज हैं, आपकी शिकायत सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं, जब आप शिकायत करते हो तो आपको मारना शुरू कर देते हैं। एंड उसके प्रोटेस्ट में अपने आप को जला दिया। बिकॉज ऑफ द मॉडर्न कनेक्टिविटी विद इन सेकेंड्स दैट न्यूज स्प्रेड टू ऑल कॉर्नर्स ऑफ टूनिशिया, and by nightfall the government falls, and before that fire could be subdued, it spreads across to Yemen, it goes across to Libya, it goes across to Iraq, it goes to Saudi Arabia, it goes to Iran, and it goes to Egypt. The governments of Yemen fall, the government of Libya goes, Iraq goes into turmoil, and Syria has been in turmoil since then. The Chinese are so worried about the modern media and its reach कि उन्होंने अपने लोगों से, अपने देश को बचाने के लिए चाइना में मीडिया की भी फ्रीडम ली है। There are cyber warriors posted, cyber police posted in each and every area, each and every district. Most of the internet messaging services को ब्लॉक किया हुआ है। Even every internet conversation of yours is heard and monitored. क्योंकि तियानमेन स्क्वायर में 1989 में चाइनीज के साथ अगेंस्ट बगावत हुई थी, और चाइना ने टैंक्स इस्तेमाल किए थे अपने लोगों को कुचलने के लिए। और अभी वो कहते हैं अगर इसी माफिक का कभी दोबारा इशू उठा, बिफोर द कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी रियलाइजेस व्हाट इट इज, द कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी वुड हैव डाइड एंड देयर विल बी अर्थक्वेक्स ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड। अगर चाइना की सरकार का गिर जाती है, चाइना टूट जाता है, देयर विल बी रेवरबरेशंस अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड। दैट इज व्हाट मीडिया इज ऑल अबाउट। आप ऐसे मीडिया का हिस्सा बनना चाहते हो तो आपको अपने आप को नॉलेज, सो नेक्स्ट थिंग आई वाज, अगर आपने मीडिया में इफेक्टिवली कंट्रीब्यूट करना है, इफ यू वांट टू सक्सीड एंड बिल्ड अप अ सर्टेन रेपुटेशन फॉर योर्स, आपकी नॉलेज, आपकी अवेयरनेस हैज टू बी ऑफ अ लेवल दैट यू स्टे सेवरल स्टेप्स अहेड ऑफ द अदर्स। I think after खाना आप लोगों की एबिलिटी टू ऑब्जर्व एंड एबिलिटी टू असिमिलेट मेरे को लगता है थोड़ी कम हो रही है। दिस अ वेरी 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 इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट एंड अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एरिया और एरेना दैट यू चोजन टू अटेन सक्सेस एंड सॉलिडिटी इन लाइफ। तो किसी और दिन जब मुझे आपसे मौका मिलेगा तो आई विल लाइक टू टॉक टू यू ऑन सेवरल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ मीडिया। मैंने कम से कम 200 से 250 लेक्चर दिए हैं। मैं विक्रम को आते समय बोल रहा था कि परसों मैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के लॉ इंस्टीट्यूट में एक टॉक के लिए इनवाइट किया गया। मेरे को न्योता कब मिला? रात को 11 बजे। At 11 o'clock at night I was contacted by the organizers कि कल सुबह इस इशू, it had got nothing to do with law, it had everything to do with media, इस इशू के ऊपर डिस्कशन है, आपने इस पे बोलना है। मैंने कहा यार अगर मेरे को इसमें बोलना है, इट्स इंटरनेशनल सेमिनार विद 22 कंट्रीज पार्टिसिपेटिंग, और अगर इसमें मेरे को बोलना है, मेरी क्रेडिबिलिटी इज एट स्टेक, माय रेपुटेशन एज अ जर्नलिस्ट एट स्टेक। सर आप चौथे नंबर पे स्पीकर हो, पता नहीं कैसे आपको नहीं बताया गया पहले, बट ब्रोशर प्रिंट हो गया है, हमारा नाक कट जाएगी अगर आप नहीं आए। तो मैंने कहा मेरी सुबह डेंटिस्ट के साथ अपॉइंटमेंट है, डेंटिस्ट ने मेरी डेंटल सर्जरी कर दी, मुंह ऐसे सूजा हुआ था, मैं बर्फ लगा लगा कर उसको ठीक किया और वहां मैं 3 सवा 3 बजे पहुंच गया। एंड आई टेलिंग विक्रम द आउटकम, राम जेठमलानी जो लॉयर थे उन्होंने कहा जितने भी लोग बोले यहाँ पर उसमें एक ही बंदे ने काम की बातचीत की, एंड दैट वाज ज़रूर सिंह। दूसरे लफ्ज़ों में यू आर जॉइनिंग अ प्रोफेशन, you are always expected to be updated. The difference between, I said, between the also rans and the winner is you got to keep yourself abreast and ahead of the competition. Everybody else is your competitor. क्या आप फील्ड में ही रह जाएंगे? 10,000 रुपए देते हैं तनख्वाह मैक्सिमम। मेरे पास रोज आती है एंकर्स और एंकर्स इंटरव्यू लेने के लिए, टोटल तनख्वाह उनको मिलती है 10 से 12,000 रुपए पहले फ्यू ईयर्स में, किसी को 15,000 18,000, और सुबह से लेकर रात तक बचाई। इतनी ठंड होती है, जब रात की ड्यूटी होती है शाम से 8 बजे तक, सुबह 8 बजे तक रात ऐसे आती है ढुलती रात को। कल रात को मेरे पास 10:30 बजे फोन आया कि सर मैं दीपिका बोल रही हूँ। मैंने कहा वेरी गुड दीपिका, क्या कर सकता हूँ? सर मैं दीपिका देशपांडे बोल रही हूँ। मैंने कहा वेरी गुड सर, मेरे को आपकी बाइट लेनी है। मैंने कहा दीपिका मैं तो नाइट सूट में चेंज करके सो चुका हूँ। सर दी ओनली अदर पर्सन, उन्होंने मेरे को 3 नाम दिए, इनके या इनके, दूसरा है गुड़गांव में और तीसरा है द्वारका में, और सर मैं तो राजपथ में, वो बेचारे ऊपर वहाँ मीडिया सेंटर है वहाँ बैठे हैं, आपके पास आ जाऊंगी तो आधे घंटे में हो जाएगा, बाकी गाड़ी में बैठ के रात को मैं इधर, तो मेरे को पता नहीं वो उठेंगे कि नहीं। आप अप्रोचेबल हो, स्माइल करते हो, कुछ कहते नहीं। आपकी मेम साहब बड़ी अच्छी है, पहले हमको चाय पिलाती है गर्म गर्म और कुछ खिलाती भी है हमको। बच्चों वहाँ तो डांट पड़ जाती है कि हाउ डेयर यू डिस्टर्ब मी एट नाइट। तो मैंने कहा आजा बिटिया, वी विल प्रोवाइड यू द वेयर विद ऑल। तो बेचारों को इस, सो ऑल दिस यू गॉट टू बी मेंटली प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर। माय ओन ब्रदर इन लॉ, मैंने उनको देखा है मोदी की तरह 18 घंटे दिन में काम करते हुए। अगर ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज बने तो ऐसे नहीं बने, You got to work 16 to 18 to 20 hours a day. और आज तक मेरे मुताबिक मैंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी of 73 years, I have not seen a single man dying because of hard work. हार्ट अटैक्स और मरते वो हैं जिनको हमेशा डर होता है आज नहीं कल नहीं परसों पकड़े जाएगी कि हमको कुछ नहीं आता. So you got to have appropriate awareness, you have to have appropriate knowledge. और ना तो awareness या knowledge बिना मेहनत के नहीं आती. So there are अनेकों और subjects हैं, अनेकों और issues हैं which can be co-joined to add on towards solidity in your life. I have covered, in fact I had about 20 odd things to share with you. I have shared only about half a dozen. इतना वास्ट ये इशू है. मैं शेयर करना चाहता हूँ तमाम चीजें कि कैसे हाउ इज इट माई बिटिया रीच देयर. आप भी सारी बिटिया हैं, हाउ कैन आई हेल्प यू टू रीच देयर. बट इस समय खाने के बाद में आपकी एबिलिटी टू ऑब्जर्व एंड असिमिलेट को ध्यान में रखते हुए आई थिंक फॉर टुडे आई शुड अटेम्प्ट टू गो फॉर द होल थिंग. Because beyond a certain thing, मेरी को मेहनत इतनी करनी पड़ती है, आप जॉब इतना कर रहे हो. I want equal playing field. आप मीडिया वाले कहते हैं ना लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड, तो लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड के मैं जितना बोल रहा हूँ उतना आप सिमुलेट कर पा रहे हो या नहीं कर पा रहे हो is something that I got to keep in mind. So in the end, my profuse thanks to my friend Vikram and Justice Bhagat Singh. To speak to amazingly wonderful children of India. I can say with guarantee that all of you are better than the best in this world. भगवान ने हमको दिमागी शक्ति दी है, हम उसको इस्तेमाल करेंगे. India is on the rise. 10 years from today, we will be a power to reckon with in our own right. कोई हमको रोक नहीं सकता, कोई हमको स्टॉल नहीं कर सकता. Because the generation next, which represents my country, is absolute solid. आप जितने जमीन से ऊपर खड़े हो उससे 10 गुना जमीन के नीचे भी. We are absolute solid because our roots go back tens of thousands of years. और वो सारी चीजें आपके जीन्स में हैं. तो in the end, my greater thanks to you कि मैं तकरीबन पौने 2 घंटे बोलता रहा हूँ अपने बड़े ध्यान से और बड़े स्माइल देते हुए मेरी बातचीत सुनी, बिना आपस में बातचीत किए. बड़ा अच्छा लगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. If you got any questions, I would like to take them on. If you got no questions, then give me a cup of tea.
I think we should throw the floor open for questions. Anybody for questions? First, introduce yourself. Okay?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Khyati from second year BJMC. Since you have served the army for several years, I would like to know your opinion on should military training be compulsory in India?
Sir, can I preface that question? You are training to be Khyati, a good journalist. We have shortlisted her for special training to become an anchor. She's doing a good job.
Very good.
But one of the things of an anchor is no loose use of language. There is a difference between serving the army for many years and serving the army for 41 years. This is a journalism class. B.G. Varghese lecture is to learn about journalism. So rephrase your question.
Sir, since you have served the army for 41 years, I would like to know your opinion on the fact, on the topic that should military training be compulsory in India?
Before I answer, let me throw the same question to the audience. How many of you here, each one of you, those who feel that military training ought to be compulsory in this country, kindly raise your hands. This notwithstanding, have you looked at the other aspects? if everybody has to be given a certain amount of military training, even the NCC training, the country's economy cannot afford it. Even in the colleges, we've given seats only 50 to a college for NCC. While there are demands that every student in the country should become an NCC student. Do you know the NCC budget is almost 25% of the army budget? And if the entire country, mein, schools and colleges and university, mein, you got to introduce NCC, your economy will sink. So however laudable the intent may be, does the nation have the capacity to convert that intent into something that is acceptable and that is affordable? Second thing is, the biggest strength of our democracy is that the opposition has a say. हमारे देश में instead of constructive opposition, we have a destructive opposition. Today, BJP is ruling the nation. BJP moots this point. Whether it is in the interest of the nation or not, all opposition parties will decry it. To give you an example, जब अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी प्रधानमंत्री थे, they wanted to bring into India at that point of time 100% foreign direct investment. Who was the biggest opponent to it? Dr. Manmohan Singh, that time the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. Then, which means the Congress party in totality opposed it. When the Congress party was ruling and Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, he wanted to bring in foreign direct investment to 51%, as against 100% by BJP earlier. Now the same BJP in opposition, knowing fully well that it's in the interest of the nation, said over our dead bodies, did not allow it to come into being. So I was invited by the industrialists of Amritsar to speak to them on this foreign direct investment. So I said कि मैं एक घंटे मैंने भाषण दिया, I will tell you what foreign direct investment is, इसके फायदे क्या हैं, नुकसान क्या है, then use your own discretion to see whether for the people of Punjab would it be beneficial or would it not be beneficial. After I finished my talk, BJP का जनरल सेक्रेटरी पंजाब का वहां बैठा था, who runs up and snatches the mic from my hand and use the choicest of foulest language to completely demolish me. और मैं खड़ा रहा, मुस्कुराता रहा. After he finished, I said, I have a right to, since you attacked me in my personal capacity. मैंने तो आपके सामने कहा था भाई मैं दोनों पक्ष रख देता हूँ, आप चुन लीजिए जो करना चाहते हैं. So I told them कि जब आपके प्रधानमंत्री थे अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी, वो तो 100% लाना चाहते थे. आज मनमोहन सिंह जी 51% लेना चाहते तो आप कहते नो. तो क्या देश के हित में और देश के हित में नहीं है, इज नॉट द इशू. द वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स और आपके सेंट्रल लीडरशिप क्या कर रही है उसको आप प्रोपेगेट करना चाहते हो. सो आई ओनली सेड कि मेरे को बड़ा दुख है कि आप बीजेपी के जनरल सेक्रेटरी हो, लेकिन आपकी जो ये अकल है वो तो पांव से भी नीचे है. मैंने तो दोनों पक्ष रखे और कहा अगर आपको पसंद है तो करो, नहीं पसंद है तो मत करो. सो वेयर इज द क्वेश्चन ऑफ अटैकिंग. सो इसलिए इवन इफ अ डिसीजन इज टेकन बाय द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, अभी जीएसटी सारे जानते हैं, सारी दुनिया जानती है, इट्स समथिंग दैट इज इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द नेशन. क्योंकि डिमोनेटाइजेशन आ गया, विच वाज आल्सो इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द नेशन. ममता बनर्जी कहती है ओवर माय डेड बॉडी, मैं जीएसटी को रोल आउट नहीं होने दूंगा. सो दैट इज certain strengths and certain negativities of the system that is prevalent in our country. So वो बाद में उसी के ऊपर आ जाएगा, can it, is it affordable, is it not affordable, क्या उसमें मेरे को वोट बैंक का फायदा होगा, क्या मेरे को वोट बैंक का नुकसान होगा. डिसीजन मेकिंग हमारे देश में ऐसे नहीं है. You ask my opinion, I don't think there is a need for that. Yes, जो हमारे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं, जो सिविल सर्वेंट्स हैं, वो जब सिविल सर्विसेज में सेलेक्ट हो जाते हैं, all of them should be compulsorily posted to army units in the field areas for the first 1 year. ये मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं कि हमारे जो प्रिंसिपल डिसीजन मेकर्स हैं डिफेंस, their understanding of defense is a big cipher. जो डिफेंस सेक्रेटरी करंट डिफेंस सेक्रेटरी से पहले तो कोल सेक्रेटरी थे, उससे पहले लेबर एंड वेलफेयर मिनिस्ट्री में सेक्रेटरी थे, उससे पहले फलानी मिनिस्ट्री में सेक्टर थे, डिफेंस का एबीसी भी नहीं जानते, एंड ही इज नाउ अकाउंटेबल टू द प्राइम मिनिस्टर फॉर द डिफेंस ऑफ द नेशन. ही हैज अ स्टैंडिंग हायर देन द थ्री चीफ्स, overrules them without understanding the implications of what he is doing. With the result, most lopsided things are happening in this country. हर साल the government of India annually is supposed to give you a direction कि उनके मुताबिक आने वाले समय में देश को किस प्रकार से कहां से खतरा है. उस देश गवर्नमेंट के पेपर को निगाह में रखते हुए then you work it out कि क्या रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग करनी है, क्या रीऑर्गेनाइज करना है, क्या रिक्रूटमेंट करना है, किस चीज को लाना है, किस चीज को कम करना है. फ्रॉम 1947 टिल डेट एक बारी भी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के सेक्रेटरी जो है डिफेंस मिनिस्ट्री में haven't had the knowledge and the awareness and the wherewithal at their disposal to give that direction. आर्मी को, नेवी को, एयरफोर्स को हम इंडिपेंडेंटली अपना बनाते हैं. पर्सपेक्टिव प्लानिंग डायरेक्टरेट में वी सेंड इट टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. जो प्रमोद सहगल ने बना के भेजा है वही आपको वापस आ जाता है. लेटर हेड चेंज हो जाता है, सिग्नेचर ब्लॉक चेंज हो जाता है, उनकी तरफ से वही आदेश होता है. कैन यू इमेजिन? लेट मी टेल यू समथिंग एल्स. 1999 कारगिल वॉर. The war started on a certain day. After the first 15-20 days, साफ तौर पे नजर आना शुरू हो गया कि हम पाकिस्तानीज को वहां पर से नहीं उखाड़ पाएंगे. Unless and until either the army enlarges the war, we open another front towards Sialkot or Lahore or elsewhere, Skardu, Gilgit, to put more pressure on Pakistan there and force it to relieve pressure again. Alternatively, use the Air Force. I was the advisor to the Chief of Army Staff on air and air defense matters. I accompanied him. The Chief of the Air Staff then refused to come to our aid for full 14 days. 14 दिन हम request करते रहे. The Air Chief said, I have met the Prime Minister and I have been told the army is at war. Air Force is not to be brought in. क्यों ramifications क्या हो जाएंगे लड़ाई के पता नहीं. When the army chief got to know this, he went and thumped the table to Gani Vajpayee and he said, I want to know, is India at war with Pakistan or is it the Indian army at war with Pakistan? Pradhan Mantri ji was taken aback and he said, surely India is at war. So he said, if India is at war, then is the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy part of that India? If it be so, then please give them the directions. And when the directions was given, मैं तो 4 साल उन पहाड़ों में हवाई जहाज उड़ाता था, हेलीकॉप्टर्स में से भी एक ऐसे फीचर्स एक से दूसरे को आप अलग नहीं कर सकते. When the Air Force came in, we asked for 12th May, Air Force comes in on 26th May. 26, 27, 28 May, Air Force wipes out hundreds of our own people. क्यों? जब पहले दिन Air Force आई, within the first 24 hours, 2 हमारे लड़ाकू जहाज और 1 हेलीकॉप्टर मारा गया. No Air Force in the world had ever flown into those areas, those altitudes, and had no idea at all. कोई control and command system वहाँ था नहीं. So they realized then, intelligence के कि पाकिस्तान के पास वहाँ पे जो air defense guns और missiles हैं, वो 10,000 फुट की ऊंचाई पर मार सकते हैं. Average height वहाँ उन्होंने कहा, टाइगर हिल की है 20,000, तो 10,000 और ऐड कर दो. तो Air Force started flying at a height of 40,000 feet. 40,000 से वैसे ही कुछ नजर नहीं आता. तो टाइगर हिल है या फलानी हिल है या फलानी हिल है, कोई पहचाना नहीं जाता. तो ऑपरेटर उसको मारा. So with bended knees we once again went to the Prime Minister on 29th May, said please get the Indian Air Force off our back and allow us to attack the rare posture, rare areas from a different direction in that area only. तो प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एयरफोर्स से पूछा क्या प्रॉब्लम क्या है, तो उन्होंने कहा कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. We can help the Indian Army provided they are allowed to use the weapons that we have. हमारे पास हजारों की तादाद में प्रिसीशन गाइडेड मिसाइल थी. We had laser guided and terminal guided. आप उसकी फोटो डाल दो, फायर करो, तो मिसाइल का नोज में कंपेयर्स कंट्रास्ट एंड गोज एंड हिट्स दैट. जो लेजर गाइडेड है 40,000 या 50,000 फीट पे पायलट को कुछ नहीं करना. He fires a laser gun and keeps pointed at that tiger hill जिसको आराम से पहचानता है. Once that laser is pointed, आप जहां मर्जी मिसाइल को छोड़ो, it goes up and enters the laser beam and then goes and hits the target जहां पे laser beam है. But each of these missiles were costing 2 to 5 crores. हमारे डिफेंस सेक्रेटरी ने कहा 1000 आदमी मर जाए कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन 100 मिसाइलें खर्च हो जाएंगी. So that is the danger when you don't have the right talking type of people at the right. और नेशन ने, मीडिया ने इसकी कोई शोर नहीं बचाया. मीटिंग्स आफ्टर मीटिंग्स, रिपोर्ट्स आफ्टर रिपोर्ट्स, ने कहा है भैया अगर हिंदुस्तान की फौज को एक मॉडर्न फोर्स बनाना है तो चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ होना चाहिए. कभी कभी पार्लियामेंट में क्वेश्चन आता है मीडिया में, nobody understands what is the need for all this. Do you know the strategic command जिसके नीचे आपकी अग्नि मिसाइल है. Now let me shock you कि जस्टिस में बैठे हैं and I think it's a right forum for me to reach out to him. He should, कल लड़ाई हो जाती है, पाकिस्तान की तरफ से हमारे ऊपर न्यूक्लियर अटैक होता है, हमने रिस्पॉन्स कब करना है, कैसे करना है, नॉट इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द आर्मी, नेवी और चीफ. The strategic command of ours, nuclear command, acts on the orders of the DRDO. क्या देश है ये? Those who are equipped, trained to act, to defend the nation, उनके हाथ में है. Decision making is with the politicians. ट्रिगर के ऊपर उंगली उनकी है, ना के आर्मी ने. आर्मी ने एयर फोर्स has got nothing to do with it. तो ये सारी खामियों को कम करने के लिए, हटाने के लिए सारी दुनिया के सारे देशों में चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ है. यहां हमारे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स कहते हैं सिविलियन पॉलिटिशियंस को, लीडरशिप को, अरे कू हो जाएगा. इंडिया इज द ओनली कंट्री जहां कू कभी नहीं होगा, क्योंकि चीफ जो है, चीफ ऑफ डिफेंस स्टाफ इतना ताकतवर हो जाएगा वो कल कुछ भी कर सकता है. डू यू नो हमारे यहाँ ऐसी चीज कभी नहीं होगी. और अगर किसी ने करना है, you don't need any resources from outside. There are enough resources in Delhi to turn the tables on the government on any day of your own choosing. जो आपके पास आर्टिलरी, तोपखाना और इन्फेंट्री और टैंक्स की यूनिट्स दिल्ली में हैं, they are enough to sort out the government in 24 hours. But कोई भी देश वासी, खास करके आपके फौजी, ऐसे नहीं करेंगे. सिविलियन ब्यूरोक्रेट्स का काम है कि आपस में मतभेद रखें. हर पे कमीशन में सारी देश जानते हैं कि आज देश की एकता, देश की अखंडता, देश की आबरू, और दी ओनली इंस्टीट्यूशन दैट इज द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इंस्टीट्यूशन इन द वर्ल्ड, जिसमें सारी दुनिया को, सारे देश को इसके ऊपर भरोसा है. आपने थर्ड पे कमीशन, फोर्थ पे कमीशन, फिफ्थ पे कमीशन, सिक्स पे कमीशन, सेवंथ पे कमीशन, उसका स्टेटस गिराते जा रहे हो. आप आईएएस में, आईपीएस में, पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस में, हमारा बेस ऐसे only 1 out of 200 officers commissioned into the armed forces become a major general. 1 out of 400 become a lieutenant general. तो क्या, बट आईएएस में क्या है, आईपीएस में क्या है, आईएफएस में क्या है, रेवेन्यू सर्विस में क्या है, जिसको आगे प्रमोशन नहीं मिलती उसको नॉन फंक्शनल अपग्रेडेशन दिया जाता है. The only फोर्स इन द कंट्री जिसको एनएफयू नहीं दे रहे, अभी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है ये कैसा नियम है. एंड द लेटेस्ट जजमेंट ऑफ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज, आप फौज को वही चीजें दोगे जो आईएएस को, आईपीएस को क्यों नहीं दी. बट इतने साल की जो बेनसाफी हो गई वो तो हो गई. 1 जनवरी 2016 से किया जाएगा. उसको भी गवर्नमेंट वापस कह रही है, नहीं एक लार्जर बेंच बनाया जाए सुप्रीम कोर्ट का, 5 बेंच या 7 बेंच, इसको देखने के लिए. तो बहुत सारी चीजें मीडिया hasn't got the awareness, the media doesn't have the knowledge. और अगर मीडिया को देश को बढ़ाना है, देश को मजबूत करना है, तो आपको भिन्न भिन्न इलाकों में जो पब्लिक अवेयरनेस और पब्लिक नॉलेज पे नहीं होते, वो मीडिया का काम है टू गेट टू द nitty gritty and put it in public domain so that sensible pressure can be applied, sensible decisions for the greater good of the nation can be taken. So does that answer your question? Whoever asked that question, military training का, does that answer your question? चलो, or any other question?
One last question.
All right, once again, thank you very much. My particular thanks to that lovely fellow who came with me. Bhaiya, तेरा नाम है भूल गया. Will you give me your name again? Devyani. What a beautiful name. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivational speech. I request our Director General, sir, to address the gathering.
Before the Director General comes on, General Sahab, Smriti is a very good poet. एक दोहा सुना दो, but welcome Director General. सुना दो, पढ़ते तो लिखते हो. कोई सा भी सुना. Director General Sahab, he's a great admirer of Sher Shahid. सुना दो to welcome him. सर के स्पीच के बाद एक सुना देना, तब तक ध्यान करो.
Albert Einstein, a great scientist, was not so proud of his contribution to physics as he was of his music skills. General Sehgal must be more proud of his oratory than being a fighter. Friends, you have heard such a talented orator. I hope you must be delighted with his communications. Even I too had many queries to raise regarding fighting of the battle. But because of the constraint of time, because we had another function after 15 minutes from now. But a few words, and the lone question asked whether army service should be compulsory. Even if it is not compulsory, Dr. General Sehgal has very rightly answered it. But insofar as jobs are concerned, we have dearth of jobs. This is one thing. And we have the spirit of patriotism in ourselves. A combination of the two may be to have an earnest desire to join army, air force or navy. Besides a very good salary, let me inspire you all to join the armed forces. There are very attractive perks. I wonder if you know that. A very decent life, club life, free residencies. This is all besides the salaries. Salary just goes to the savings. Then free electricity, free water, free commutation, free journey from one place to another along with the family. And most amusing to me is the free ration. The free ration, of course, up to a particular rank, perhaps Lieutenant Colonel, or maybe now there was a demand that even the officers higher in ranks must get it. And though it's on lighter side, General Sehgal will bear me out, that though the free ration is admissible to a single officer, say a captain, but the quantity of the ration is that large that it can very well feed the whole family of 4 or 5 persons. Friends, this is on lighter side, but it's a very decent life. If you become a fighter as General Sehgal was, you get a pleasure of flying in the air, hitting the enemy with your guns. It can fetch you a great pleasure. And then serving for the country is the best job. So you must think of joining Army, Air Force or the Navy as per your interest. And insofar as today's subject is concerned, General Sehgal has spoken at large, covering all the points. But if from the perspective of the judiciary, we talk of stability and solidity, then judiciary has given a very solid life to the society. And the recent examples are directions in the matter of BCCI. There were many melodies going on in the cricket world. However, cricket clubs across the country, they were suffering from some irregularities. The Supreme Court had now issued mandatory orders superseding the board, and 2 legal luminaries have been appointed, Nariman and Gopal Subramaniam, to nominate a president of the board. All those who are the players of the cricket or those who have some interest in the cricket must be delighted from these orders of the Supreme Court. It is how the Supreme Court has been stabilizing our society. And then through PILs, not one but hundreds, the Supreme Court has brought stability into society. The introduction of CNG is the consequence of Supreme Court's orders. We had a stable constitution of India, which is the mother of all the laws. I wish, I'll ask Dr. Parul, HOD of the communication faculty, not communication but the journalism faculty, that I must teach you the Constitution of India so that you must know what our laws are. Constitution is the mother of all the laws, and it brings stability. All laws have to be put on the touchstone of the credibility of this Constitution, and it is how the stability can be assured. The Supreme Court, by collegium system, it is different that people may have their own opinions about the collegium system. But when the judiciary is firm in its principles, it issues judgments and orders so as to bring harmony between the communities, so as to bring good results of the efforts being made by our politicians, and so on and so forth. So friends, I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Thank you, sir, for your words.
वहाँ सुना रहे हो?
Sir,
हाँ सुना. And then Pawan ma'am will give the vote of thanks.
UD attack was miserable, but our soldiers have decided its price. 19 killed to make million arise. Army responded in the best way alive. It was never a war, but was someone against mankind. Terrorism never had, never will have a religion lifetime. All they have is a dirty mission in their mind. PM of our nation shall make you realize its consequences and its price. Slogan of our nation shall again be recite. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan is what we pride. Like you did after time to खाता.
बहुत अच्छा था, है ना? Very beautiful.
Now
ये
I would like-
कॉपी जनरल साहब को भेज देना from our Galib lovers.
Now I'd like to call upon stage Dr. Parul Mehra, HOD of BJMC.
Honorable Chief Guest, General P.K. Sehgal ji, our Director General Sir, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh ji, our Principal Academics, Dr. Vikram Dutt, and my dear students, very good afternoon to all of you. I express my profound and most sincere gratitude to all the dignitaries present on the dais. I want to sincerely thank our Chief Guest, Major General P.K. Sehgal ji, who found time to grace this occasion of B.G. Varghese lecture series. I firmly believe we all are well profited with your wealth of learning and experience, sir. This lecture on attaining stability and solidity in life has been quite educative and illuminating. Rather, you have filled the empty pots of our minds by your this information. I would like to thank our Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh sir for not just gracing the occasion of B.G. Varghese lecture series, but also he is a great source of motivation and inspiration. My sincere thanks to our principal academics for always being the true sense of motivation for all the faculties and students. I again thank Mr. Sehgal for his kind presence. I hope, sir, you'll be in touch with our college forever. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.